Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my photo editing live stream where you can submit your images and I edit them here live online. And also I put my image out there for you guys to edit because it's always fun to see what you guys do with pictures that sometimes I struggle with. But we're all here just to kind of pass the time and maybe learn a little bit about editing, and I'll try and make some recommendations as I go along. So it's really sort of a photo editing and critique type session. And I do my best, but I always welcome suggestions from the chat section. I can always try a couple of things. And, just for the sake of time, I'm going to set up a 4-minute timer so I can kind of keep track of how long it's taking me. I'm not going to stop necessarily at 4 minutes, but I noticed in the last couple of streams I've been taking too long or spending too much time on a edit for just very minor differences, right? So I just want to kind of get 90% there most of the time, if not 100%. But yeah, I can get carried away with light painting sometimes, or trying different things. But anyway, let's see who's here. Looks like we got a good group. Druid's here, Jeff Painter, John Burleson. Thank you, John, so much for the coffee. I appreciate that. And Marcia, good to see you. Scott Mumford, John Truman, Raho, Jerky, John Follows. Wow, it's a good group here. Awesome. And Michael. And Michael says, I didn't know that you, such a nice guy who actually answers questions. A few weeks ago, I was deciding between EM1 Mark I and EM10 Mark II, and I asked for a neighbor in the country, but still no answer. Oh, well, I try to get back to everybody. My channel's not so large now that I can still take some time and answer questions. I actually spend probably an hour to 2 hours a day going through my emails and comments, on my videos and my forum and my Flickr and my Instagram, and I try to at least acknowledge that I saw your comment. But if there's a question that I can answer or help with, I try to do that as well. Also, with the emails and everything, people send me lots of emails, and I get questions a lot there too. But my goal ultimately is really just to help people get started and get over that not anxiety, but that learning curve, right? Just to get over that learning curve to where you can actually start to do and really enjoy the photography and not get frustrated by the technical things, right? Diving through menus and finding things, and because I know that we're sort of a mixed breed, I guess. We like gear, but we also like photography, and it's exciting when we find out a new feature or something that we can do in our cameras to help us enjoy our photography more. And and it doesn't have to be silly things like high-res shot mode. Not that that's silly, but just simple things like exposure compensation or using a flash. These very basic fundamentals in photography. Sometimes that you just need to get over that slight learning curve to start really enjoying whatever it is you're trying to do. And photo editing is also another learning curve, right? Because there's all kinds of different software, and they all have different workflows. And we pick, I always recommend picking the software that speaks to you best, that makes the most sense to you, is the most intuitive. And I think one of the best values, honestly, is like Adobe Photoshop Elements. I saw it on sale today for like $69. Well, yesterday. And it has everything you could ever want to do with photo editing. And it's not the best, right? In terms of final output, but it's really the Swiss Army knife of photo editing software. And for me, I use Photoshop Elite because I'm a little bit beyond the in terms of editing. I'm kind of beyond what Photoshop Elements can do with respect things that I like to do with my photography, and I'm more interested in the final output because I can get, 100% there photo editing wise with just about any software now, but the final output, the noise reduction, the sharpness, the colors and everything, I found the Photolab 4 Elite works best for me. And I always recommend it for more enthusiast type photographers that, where the final output is ultimately what is where you want to go, right? Is what you want to get versus, something like Photoshop Elements is, like I said, a Swiss Army knife. It'll get you 90% there, and the output is 99% of just about everything out there. But it's, it's that little extra, right, that Photoshop Photolab 4 Elite gives me that I decided to go ahead and purchase that. And I rarely do any editing outside of Photolab 4 Elite now because of that. But anyhow, so that's what I'll be using mostly today. I may jump over to Lightroom or something if I have to. But, I haven't abandoned things like Olympus Workspace. I still go to it, not as often as I used to, but I still go to it time to time because I do like the art filters and things that Olympus has. And, that's just where I am these days, where my head is at. But anyhow, let me go ahead and get started. Oh, Roberto walked in. How you doing, Roberto? And Leon, good to see you. Gigafish, always good to see. Who was in the last session didn't like spiders? Oh, Casper's here. Wow, everybody's kind of rolling in here. That's awesome. Serge, good to see you. Let's go ahead and pop over to the editing screen. That's not it. Cam left, cam right. And I need to find monitor 2. Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay, it's showing. All right, my bad. Okay, so we got a bunch of images here. So let me just go ahead and start with this one. And we have a landscape. Oops, wrong button. There's my timer. So nice landscape of a dam or something here, or a mill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just focus in here on the left side because all the light over here on the right is pulling your eyes away from the main subject. So, well, let me apply a quick preset. I have this preset I made to kind of just automatically fix some stuff. But I'm going to focus on just this side here to start. And then let me compose it in a way that makes sense. Maybe just grab a little bit on the right so I can rule a third just a little bit. All right, let's straighten the horizon. Get a little bit more there. How about a perspective button? No, I need that. All right. Yeah, I like this composition better. Oh, there's a little plane up here. There's a dude here. Lots of little accents in the image I like. Let's do. We need to do something about this shadow area. I mean, just pushing shadows and stuff is not going to cut it. I'll do a little bit of that, but I think I'm going to have to work with the color. Let me let me look at some presets and see. I think I'm just going to go old school. Because my problem is that the white balance here is very warm and it's very cool over here as a shadow and highlight would be outside. And I just don't like that. So I'm gonna go to a black and white preset of some sort. Maybe I like this one. There. Okay. So that to me is, well, I'm not crazy about this film border. Let me change that. Maybe we'll just change it to something. Yeah, there we go. So I think this works for me this way because, like I said, the white balance issues I was having, and we'll just do a before and after. So this image on the left is the full image. And I'm never, you know, this right side just is not very interesting. Because this building, even though it's probably connected to this structure, is just definitely, you know, obscured by all the trees. And then the white balance, meaning this is very warm over here, very cool over here, just do not work together. So I just decided to go with a single image, and then black and white gets rid of any color issues I have. The only thing I might add, see if I can fix the red tones a little bit on the brick. Yeah, let's make the building a little bit brighter. And that's it. Okay, let's go to the next one. That was from Jerky. Hope you like that. This one here is critique only. Who is this from? Christian. All right, good job on editing. You really crushed the blacks here, which I really like. So it makes the flamingos here really pop in terms of color. And the highlights here are a little bit blown, but that's okay because the brightness down here sort of balances out all of the black area. So the blackness makes the color pop, and then you have good tones on all of the flamingos. Just slightly blown here. It may be, you know, it may have been just blown beyond anyway, even in raw image. But if that can be fixed, that would be better. And I like the balance of the green against the flamingo's color. So there's good balance or complementary colors here between this green and these pinks and reds and oranges. In terms of framing, like I said, the overall balance is really good. This wood here, this reflection here, balance each other diagonally. This green right here is my only challenge. It's just, it's a little bit off, hanging over this one flamingo. But it does give a little depth, so I guess it's okay. The only thing I probably do different is maybe a little bit more framing on the bottom. Just a little bit more on the bottom if you can. If you didn't have that available in the original image, you could just add a black bar and gradiate it in, just to give a little more room on the bottom where the feet are. But other than that, I think this is an excellent image. You did a really great job. Everything kind of came together very nicely. Hopefully I have a series of these images that you can work with, so you can see, because what I'd like to do is maybe you get two of these heads, like this head and this head is hidden, but then you got this, every other beak, right, showing. Because right now you got 4 beaks showing and 1 not. It'd be nice to do every other one, but that's kind of roll of the dice, right? Maybe you didn't take multiple images, and they move around, but knowing that you have to be in the moment, this is really an excellent shot. Okay, so good job on the editing. I really like how you made all the colors pop there. All right, one from John Truman. Yes, good leading lines drawing you in. You know, looking at this previous image, you know, from this bottom right corner takes you all the way up to the top left corner. So there's a lot of excellent composition here in terms of balance, in terms of color, and leading the viewer's eye throughout the image. So there's a lot of great compositional tips or practice here. Okay, sorry, let me go over to John's now. And we have another landscape with another mill or building. Yeah, it's a mill of some kind. So I'm definitely going to go black and white again. And it's okay with John, because I know he's partial to black and white like I am. So let me just do my black and white preset. Now we have to separate the greens a little bit. So let me just look at some presets real quick, some other ones. Well, I like this low key. So the tones, there's good tonage in this image. This preset here, low key, just tells me that I can separate the tones really nicely if I need to, without working with the colors directly first. And so I'm going to go kind of in this direction, this low key direction, because I like how it separated the tones without working with the channel mixer yet. But let me see what colors we have here. We have lots of yellows and greens down here. Very little red. But let's see if we can bring the yellows down without... Yeah, there's no red to work with. Okay, now the foreground here is still a little bit too bright, because the main subject to me is kind of like this waterfall and this building here. So I'm going to go with a grad filter and pull off some of the brightness here. Let's do it with highlights first, and then midtones, and then we'll pull some of the blacks in. And throw a little bit of micro contrast back in for detail. Nah, we don't really need it. If anything, maybe less detail. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so now in terms of tone, I think I have what I want. Composition, I think we're doing well, except this one top right corner. So let me just brush that. Repair, feather, a little bit bigger. All right. This is the one thing that I've noticed with Photolab 4, it doesn't really fill the corners in. So I'm just going to crop it and do a slight crop. And the question is, since some of the buildings cut off anyway, let's Let's bring it in a little bit tighter. It might be too tight. Okay. Couple last touches, a little bit of vignette. Let's see if a little bit of split tone might work. If we pull a little bit of color back in, like so. A bit on the highlights. And one last check at the color. If I go the other way, no. Just a little color and then just a little more exposure comp. All right, I think I'm done. So let's do a quick compare. All right, so there's the before and after. I like that little hint of color that I left in there on the right. It just gives it, I don't know, instead of going fully black and white, just a light color. And then I wanted to separate the tones between the foliage, you know, the trees and grass with the structure and the waterfall, and make that the two main or the two brightest things in the frame. So if anything, I would probably light paint a little bit and just bring this brightness in between and connect these two a little more. Maybe I can do that real quick without extending the time too much. Right in here and here. Maybe a little bit of light on that rock. Definitely right in here. So let's just do a shadow push. Definitely the highlights. All right, that's all I'm going to do. So there's my final image. There's the before. There's the after. I don't know, the light painting didn't help much. But anyhow, I think that makes for a nice image. Let's go to the next one. Let's see, something from Ivan here. Couple of geese. Wow, these are interesting geese. Little different breed than the ones I see around here. We have like Canadian geese. The framing is bad because the legs are cut off. So I think I'll do the AM5 Mark III, 4150 Pro. Yeah, all good stuff. I would have dialed in, you know, whenever you shoot birds, especially birds that have any kind of white feathers, you probably want to do a -1 EV on these. You know, I'm sure this wasn't intentional, right? You didn't intentionally dial in a +3 EV, but you should be very deliberate about dialing in negative EV with birds that have white feathers so you can make sure you capture that detail and color. So I think what I'll do is I definitely, let me just apply a quick preset here. And let's do a quick crop. Oops, I forgot my timer. But this one won't take too long, actually. Let's do a quick crop right in here. Let's balance out these two birds. Maybe too much on the left there. What a vertical. Yeah, I like that better. Makes the necks look a little longer, right? And I'll see if I can bring any of these highlights in. Yeah, that helps. And let's push the color. Let's do it with vibrancy. Add some vignette. Maybe a little more. We'll go back. Let's kill some of this. Add a little sharpness in. And this may be kind of fake, but I'd really like to. I'd like to push the reds. And I'm going to pull the greens and yellows back. Come on. Like so. Maybe make them just a tad darker. Push the oh, what happened here? I got some blue. I got some blue artifacts happening here. How did that happen? It happened shortly after. No, it's kind of always been there. So let me just pull back this blue a little bit right in here, because this is the only blue in the frame, I think. Unless there's really blue on the front of these guys. Right? Somehow I doubt that. All right. I think I'm done. So let's do a quick comparison here. So there's the before and after. Just basically brought the tones in, a little bit of a crop so that we don't have these cut off legs and feet, right? Because the feet are cut off on this one and the legs are cut off here, and also the feathers on the rear. So just compositionally, I decided to take off, you know, just sort of balance out these two birds so that they're cut off equally. And then I think the portrait mode works well. Okay, let's go to the next one. That was from Ivan. Nice picture. And we have one here from John Burleson. Ooh. Need to microwave this for about a minute. Get some of this honey back, uncrystallize it. I do it all the time myself. I love honey. But photographically, my goodness, this is not very interesting. Maybe because I just have it in my cupboard and I see it every day. To somebody that doesn't see bear honey like this all the time, maybe this is fascinating. But for me, it's like I'm kind of a little bit, it's just not as interesting because I have this in my cupboard myself. Okay, well, let's try to find a story or something we can do. Let me apply a basic preset here. And then let me preview some of the other. If there's anything else that might be. Gigafish says crop a headshot. Yeah, I don't like any of these. The only thing I might consider is this one, to bring out the textures a little better. And let's do a quick perspective correction and horizon. Crop that. Okay. Since the left one is cut off, I'm going to cut off the right one a little bit. Keep the feet. Keep the shelf. I'm not sure. And then let's bring a little color back in. Let's just do generic. It was using this Ilford pen 50 to bring in all the tones. So let me do it manually. No, I don't like it. So let's go back a couple of steps. Maybe a little sepia, you think? I doubt it, but let's do that. I'm going to have to use a tone curve to bring the sepia in. Oh, that's not bad. We'll split tone it a little bit. It's got plenty of grain actually in the image. It's just harder to see on the live stream, but there's actually good grain in here already. I mean, I could add a light leak maybe. Something like this. Well, not this. Let's do a plate. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right. And instead of a color like lead, let's make it black and white. All right, let's do a before and after there. Wrong button. That's the one I want. All right, so there's before and after. So really the main thing about this image is just the crop and trying to get some kind of balance. It's a little bit tight on the top. That's okay, because this red thing here is a little distracting. And then just going a little bit vintage on it, and that's about it. Because really, this honey, they've probably been selling it like this for the last 100 years, or since there's been plastic anyway. In these little bear bottle containers, so it's okay to go vintage. It wouldn't be out of place, I don't think. You know, you wouldn't like take a picture of a Tesla and apply vintage, you know, filter to it. But with something like this, you can and get away with it. All right. John Burleson, thank you for sending that. And let's take a look at this one. We have, I keep hitting, there we go. All right, we have some rowers here. This one is screaming at the rest of them, you know. And little buoys out here. So we have some depth here with this. I feel like a vertical might be better if I can fit all the oars in. Dave, yep. You think it's a rescue boat? Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Let me see if I can squeeze a vertical. Let me apply my preset first. And then I don't know if a vertical will squeeze in here or not. Just barely. So I have to try maybe 5x4. Wow, it's really tight. 1x1. And I'm going to play with the light a little bit, but I need to just sharpen this a bit. Because the light is coming in from really kind of behind them. On the top. So I need more feathering. There's some light here. And we'll just amplify it here a couple of times and push that. And saturate it. Not so much, just right there. Maybe a little bit more here. Did a little bit too much. Okay. So I got some light here on the bottom left. Let me balance that with the top right. How can I do that? It's going to be tough. Nah. Okay. In terms of composition, I'm not sure this works too well. No. Let me just look at some presets. I like this one. This one is a little softer. Let's not do black and white. Maybe just a little bit softer here. And then my contrast, let's do a global contrast this way. And this one. All right, let's call it there. Ah, stop it. So there's the before and after. And yeah, the landscape crop just didn't work as well for me. And then I just brightened this up. I kind of like the light coming through the wave here, so I just wanted to show that more. And then just a little more contrast overall. I think that works. Just like that. Why is this? Well, give me a second. I messed up the screen somehow. 11, 12, there we go. Sorry. The only other thing I would add, I think one more thing would be nice on this is a white frame. Like so. So there's my final edit. I think the white frame works nicely there. Okay. Ian, very nice picture. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we have a really nice landscape. Who sent this in? This was Peter Oddie. Okay. And this was a EM10 Mark II with a kit lens. Awesome. Really good settings too. This is these are very, very deliberate settings. Like, it's very unlikely these settings happened on accident, right? So good job with the settings. Okay, let me get my auto preset, and let me get rid of this bar here. This will probably jack it up. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Okay. All right. Compositionally, I see what we're doing. We're doing some leading lines, but I feel like you needed to get closer because there's just way too much weight down here in the front with all these rocks. And usually these kind of shots, I like to do verticals too. Oops, my timer. Oh, dang it. There we go. So let me try. Let me try vertical. Yeah, I like that a little better. I mean, I know we're losing the ocean. Let me just look at the whole thing again. I'm going to look at a landscape version. If I come in tight like this again, I mean, this captures a little bit more of the scene, a little better, because the fact that this structure or building is on a cliff over the ocean is really nice. But I feel like the vertical is a better composition, but we're losing a lot of context of the story here. So I'm going to compromise and go with this. Druid said you use the fence on the right. The fence is a little bit too straight. I feel like. Because if I do it this way, the fence is, yeah, it's just a little too high up in the frame for me. I don't think this fence works well as a leading line into the frame. I mean, it kind of does, but it's not. It's not perfect. It forces me to put too much sky in. So, yeah, I think over here is better, right in this corner. I'll bring this in. Yeah, I wouldn't do square because we would cut off too much of the scene. And I'd have to make it too big again. And that would bring in too much sky. This crop's not very good. Hold on. I'm trying to avoid having too much sky. Maybe right here. Okay, I'm going to go with this. And pull this back and pull this up. Ben thinks hey Ben, how are you? Thinks I should crop less. I don't know. I just don't like the fence on the other side. Let me just look at it one more time. I don't know. I could, that's about the most I want to crop. And even then, I'm a little bit too much. I have too much because I'd like the sand here line to be in there. Now you guys are messing me up. I mean, I know you're trying to help, but I have like I'd have to come all the way down here to kind of get it. And that's just too much rock again. So I spent my whole time just coming up with a composition. All right, now in terms of lighting, let's amp up the colors there, pull back the highlights a little bit, and a little bit more in the clear, which just brings us some more contrast. The only challenge is the sky is a little bit dark for let me just add a little more brightness in here. Okay, I'm done. So let's do a before and after. So there's my before and after. I think it was just way too heavy in the front with all the rocks, and the buildings just seemed tiny. But here on the right, I would like to crop a little tighter, but then I lose too much of the scene. So it's okay. This one rock is still a little bit too heavy for my taste, but I think this works. A 16 by 9 might work, but then it would bring too much of this fence line in, I think. Let me just try that real quick. I thought about a 16 by 9, but I kind of ruled it out because I felt like I don't know, that doesn't quite balance quite as well for me, but that's what a 16 by 9 would be like. That, I mean, I think that's just as pleasing an image. But I liked it better before, honestly. And then brightening up over here, because this was a little bit too dark relative to how bright everything was over here. You don't get the impression that there's enough light coming from the left side to create this kind of brightness on the right. So that's why I brighten this up. But other than that, it's really, yeah, it's a great image, Peter. All right, one from Serge here. Wow, look at this landscape. I like this grass in the foreground. It's a little bit too dominant in the frame because compositionally, you know, the landscape behind it just kind of falls off too quickly. It's, you know, we're trying to create depth here, but the gap between the grass and this landscape is too much distance, so it doesn't smoothly flow in terms of depth. It just goes from something right in your face to something far away. So I'm gonna have to minimize that. And then there's good sky. Let me just apply a quick preset. It's a sensor spot here. I don't know why I'm bothering to fix that, but I will. How am I going to get this because the problem it goes from like foreground to background like this. There's no middle ground, so to speak, to create depth. But I really like the texture of the grass. Yeah, the color's a little lean too. Maybe a black and white. But we can always, you know, crank up saturation and stuff, right? Like that. But that's not my problem right now. My problem right now is with the composition. Let me just explore 16. This would be a good candidate for a 16 by 9, I think. Yeah, that's a little better. That's a little better. All right, let's try and balance this. Let me look at some black and white presets real quick. That's not bad. That's terrible. Let me just do it manually. So we had mostly greens and yellows down there. So the same two channels. See if I can create some contrast. All right, let me bring a little color back in. If I turn this off, did my mixer? Yeah, the mixer did the right thing for me. Maybe some cyan. Oops. Let's do it with this. Wow, there's so little blue in there. It's not making much difference. Let's try this again. Oh, none of this is helping. And I'm going to do just a little bit of brushing here. Right here. And a little bit right here. Okay, I'm going to call it there. I mean, it's a beautiful landscape, but there's just the depth is kind of messed up because of this fall off right here along the grass line. So let's do a quick comparison. So there's the before and after. I mean, I tried to light paint a little bit to give it a little more, contrast, but it's okay. It's an okay edit. Let's go full screen. Yeah, I desaturated a bit Play-Doh. I can put it back in. If I turn this off, but I like it a little desaturated because I added some contrast up here. It's kind of adding some undesirables to it. So That's my final answer. The grass was great. It was just too much, basically. And really, we want our eyes to focus right here in the middle where all the trees are. Okay, let's go to the next one. A mirror. Okay, let's get rid of, let me do a quick auto. And let's crop in and get rid of some of the background, because I don't like this dirt down here. Let's find an interesting group. I like this group here, some very brights and some very darks at the same time. Yeah, that works for me. All right. I need a little more balance. Let me rotate it to the right. Recrop this. Okay. Crank in a little bit more detail. Let's pull the highlights just a tad. Maybe a tad more. Okay. And then pull the blacks in, push the midtones. All right, and I'd like, this green is not complementing the purple too well. I don't know if I can shift that green just a little bit. A little bit more to the right. Ugh, that's too much. All right, that's the original. I'm going to shift it just a little bit more. If I do it this way, yeah, this way is better. Okay. I think that maybe some vignette in a white frame. Okay, I'm done. So there's the before and after. So the image on the left, you know, because of this ground here and this ground here, you know, I don't like that. And then I tried to create a diagonal this way and a diagonal this way. It's very subtle, but there's two diagonals in this now, and then crushing the blacks to kind of bring it back, I think, really makes this image, you know, pop a little more. It's not too dissimilar to the flamingo picture earlier, where he crushed the blacks down to make the colors pop a little more, and that's all I'm doing. And then I shifted the greens just slightly, just so that they complement that purple blue color a little better. But other than that, I think that, yeah, this is a great picture. All right, let's go to the next one. One here from Jeff Painter. I have this awesome dragonfly. How did I get into this again? All right. Let's do this. So we're at a higher ISO here, looks like. Yeah, 6400. So this, I'm going to have to export this one. F11, wow, that's a bit high. What lens is this? Oh, a 300. All right. Wow. With a teleconverter, looks like. Wow. Okay. That's why you can be F11 and still have a blurred out background. But it's just right because now you got just enough depth of field to get everything in focus on the dragonfly. So this is definitely one of those shots that DXO would really clean up nicely. So I'm gonna do a little bit of processing, definitely some vignette, probably a little bit of vibrance. But let's pull back the greens. We're kind of already there. Let's just desaturate a little bit on the greens. A little bit of luminance. And I think framing wise, we're already framed well enough. Because if I try and rotate it, the back end's going to get cut off, which I don't want to do. I think that's all I need to do for this image, really. Let's just crank up the sharpness and just a little bit more on the noise. And let's just export this. Export as JAME to the original folder. 100%. All right. So we'll give that a second. Did that export or not? Export. I doubt it did it that fast. Yeah, I'm just looking at the progress bar down here. Oh, hey Jonas, how are you? Okay, I'll try and grab your edit. Let's see if it got exported. Looks like I had some kind of error. Oh, here it is. So now you can see how DXO really cleaned this up. Got rid of all the noise. Really brought back in the detail, right? And this is where this is what I was talking about earlier in the stream about how DXO, the end result is what matters to some of us, right? Ultimately, we're at this point where we can edit in just about any software we want to get what we want, but then to get the final result to be crispy, clean, and lots of detail. I mean, you can see all of the texture along the stalk here, and I think it's just amazing. Versus, let's look at the original. If I reset this, here's the original, right? I mean, it's just, like I said, there's noise in here. The details kind of been softened up everywhere on this. And, you know, we're not seeing quite the same detail in the textures here along this tummy or whatever this is of the bug. And then going back, this is I mean, this is the final result. It's just amazing what DXO can do. So just another plug, you know, I have a link below to a free trial download if you want to try this. I guarantee you'll be amazed. All right, great shot. Yeah, the noise engine is amazing, right? Let's see where we're at here. Let's go to the next one. How many do I got here? Oh, I'm a little bit behind. So let's do, ooh, who sent this one? This was from Scott Mumford. Okay, Scott. This is a tough one because you got all these distractions in the image. I think you were trying to go for like a frame within a frame, maybe, but it's not working. This is not framing well at all. Some interesting house back there. Let's straighten things up if we can. Right about there. Maybe a little more. And try and crop something out of this. Maybe just here. Just a slight vignette, some color. Whew. You are really challenging me here. Went too far. Um, I think that's all I can really do. And then mute it a little bit. Nah, we'll leave it that way. Let me look at the overall composition again. Actually, this house is more interesting than these. I mean, all the sharpening in the world is not going to help this, I don't think. If I get a little bit more of the landscape in. All right, I think that's it. I can export this, but I don't think it's going to make much difference because we're down to about 1 megapixel. I mean, this is a little interesting over here, right? Because I like this row of trees over here and on the left, and this house being right on the edge. Kind of works for me. And then I don't. Nah, we'll leave it color. But did that export out or not? Let me see. DNG JPEG. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we're down to probably less than 1 megapixel. But I think this has some potential. The way the light's hitting it and everything. So this, if you could go back there with a longer lens or get closer, look at this right side with this house on the hill. This is the most interesting thing in the frame because everything else is, yeah. Everything else in the frame is just, I can't even get it to show. But okay, I'm going to move on. Sorry, Scott, that's the best I could do with that. Let's go over to this one. Oh, this is another, well, it's kind of in the dark. ISO 800, 100 to 400 EM1X. This must be from Randy. Who is this from? Oh, Bettina Nira. Wow, that's a new person. I don't think I've edited one of their pictures before. This is a coyote, I think, or a fox, right? Oh, it's only 3 hours away? Sure, make it a day trip, Scott. It's not worth driving back 3 hours. Even that house by itself, yeah, that's not a 3-hour drive type photograph. Unless for some reason there's northern lights and all kinds of other stuff going on, then I'd go back. But, all right, let me work on this image real quick. Let me apply a quick preset. And let's do a little bit of a crop. Like so. I'm not liking that. How about we need a little more headroom in front. And let's just amplify the colors a little bit. Pull back the greens. Oh, you go there a lot? Wow. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, the coast is about 3 hours from me too. Like a real beach at a minimum. If I want to go, and that's just beach. If I want to go to a nice beach, yes, 5-6 hours. Or go to Florida, which is 15 hours to get to a nice beach. Let me tilt it so his head looks a little bit lower. Some vignette. more contrast here. And then we need to, let's try cloudy first, just a little warmer. Or if we go full on shade, that might be too yellow. Oh, that's not bad. I like this. Okay. So what I can do is, let's make this a lot bigger. Let's come in, because the light's kind of hitting them from the back. Let's just amplify that a little bit. And okay, touch there. Let's add a that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Just trying to add a little bit more catch light. Here and here. And one more brush and we'll be good. Okay. Overdid it there. Let me undo that one eye. Oh. Okay. Man, I'm getting a big stink eye on this side. Where is that? Did I do that with? This one? Yeah, let me get rid of that and do it one more time. All right. Hopefully I didn't overdo it that time. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's do a before and after. I mean, I'd like to, I'm spending way too much time on this, but this needs to be darker. All right, I'm done. Let's do a before and after. Okay, so all I did really was just accentuate the light hitting the wolf coming in from sort of the back right. I could brush in a little highlight recovery here, but other than that, and then bring out the eyes a little bit better. I think that was key. Because the eyes here are a little bit flat, but over here, you know, just a little bit of accent, right? Just to bring them out a little more. And I think that works pretty well. So let that finish rendering. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. All right. Let's see. Let's go here. Jose de Leon. We have... your results are fine, Dave. So we have a long exposure. We got to get rid of this left side, whatever this is, parking garage or something. So this will be pretty straightforward crop, I think. A little bit of motion blur. Let's see where we're at here. Kind of. Let's see if we can do this. No. Yeah, that jacks it up. Need just a horizon. We need a straight line somewhere. Right there. Oh, thank you, everyone. That was not a bad edit, I guess. Let's see if we can get one of these corners to work. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to cool it off a little bit. Let's push the blacks, push the shadows up. See if we can minimize this. This is very distracting here. Thank you, Randy. Okay. I try. You know, I try. I think I'll call it here. So not much difference, right? I just cooled it off slightly on the white balance because the tungsten lighting is just a little bit too strong. And then cropped out that cement or whatever. That's very distracting in the scene. And then straightened it up, and I think this final edit works a little better. I mean, there's some motion blur because it's such a long exposure, right? So things have been, and this is a little bit too extreme, the motion blur. I don't think like Sharpen AI would fix that, honestly. So I'm gonna give it a quick shot though. Sharpen AI is supposed to correct for motion blur. So let's give it a quick try and see. Motion blur. Audible. Like you see this 262 on this trash can. I mean, you can see it everywhere, right? Let's let that update and see if Sharpen AI will fix that or not. Yeah, it's not working. I could crank that all the way up and see. Sometimes when I crank it way up, it works. Nah. And if we say very blurry. So I love Sharpen AI, but you have to get a feel for what kind of images it's going to really perform. Sometimes it's just amazing. Other images, you know, not so much. And this, you get a feel for that after a while. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so let's apply this. That did a decent job, actually. So I'm going to export this out, and we'll do a before and after. Whew, it's taking a while. See what my task manager says. %72% of CPU, GPU at 30%. So it's doing the best it can. Doop-de-doop-de-doop. All right, come on. You can do it. Oh, yeah, I should. I don't know. It's in the sync, I believe. All right. So the TIFF file, here's the final image. So yeah, Sharpen AI did clean up a lot of the motion blur. Like this doesn't look too bad. I mean, there's some artifacts. You can see like the license plate is a little bit mushy, but it's certainly a lot better. And then let's go back to the original and reset this one. Yeah, you see the Mazda here. You know, the lights and everything are blurry. The street's not too bad. That wasn't affected too much by the motion blur. But like this building, quite a bit. And then going back to the, yeah, so now the building's a lot better, right? It doesn't look like there's motion blur quite as much. So it's definitely way better than it was before in terms of motion blur. And it works great on an image like this because it's very dark and you're not like pixel peeping everything anyway. So I think it worked out well. Okay, let's go to the next one. Jeff Painter. What is this thing? It's a bust of a, I don't know, Inca warrior or something. I don't know. And it's going to be tough to separate this thing tonally between the green and this blue-green. But I'm going to try. Hmm. Oh, this is interesting. It did pull it out. How did it do that? It pushed, it shifted the yellows. So if I shift the yellows and I push the greens, I think I can separate this head from the background a little better. So let me... If I shift these... Yeah. What's opposite of green? Red? Yeah, let me shift these all the way red. All right. Now, if we go to black and white now, did that... this has no effect anymore. That's not what I was hoping. Yeah. This color wheel is lost on the... So I have to do it with this. But this doesn't shift things, it just... Oh, this isn't separating it like I want. I guess we can do a partial color. And let's throw in a vignette. All right. Do it right there. And oh, thank you, Plato. I almost missed that. Yeah, this thing. Might as well get rid of that. Oh, how come the bench is not brushed out? I thought I... Try that again. Get a bigger brush. Yeah, this is the only challenge I'm having with Photolab 4. It's not getting into the corners very well. if I do this as a clone? All right, anyway, never mind that brush. This is kind of where I want to be. Yeah, I tried cloning, but somehow that the very edges of the corner just never get. I'm gonna have to work with. I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit. Okay, but there we go. So here's the before and after. Yeah, mainly I just wanted to separate this blue-green with the green in the background. And grass, you know, even though it looks green, it's actually mostly yellow in terms of color. So I was able to just shift the yellows over and create that separation. There we have it. That's my final edit. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you like it, Jeff. I just wanted to really make this head come out and really stand out in the picture. But what was killing it for me was this green. Other than that, it's fine. Okay. Let's see. John follows. See how we're doing here. Wow. I bet this is a 60 macro lens. Let me see. Based on the depth of field, though, it's probably a longer lens, like a 300. Let's see. Yes, a 60 macro. Okay. F11, ISO 200. Yep. Great settings, as always. Let me apply my basic preset. And we will push the shadow area a little bit. Add some vignette. Pull in the blacks again. Oh, let's not do that. Let's do it with contrast. I did that. All right. Crank up some detail. And I think that's fair, Plato. If it's in mint condition, that's fair. I think if you can get it under that, that would be a good deal. But at 400, that's fair. If that was US dollars, that's a decent deal. But in pounds, I think that's about, it's fair. If it's mint. If it's not mint, I would pass on it. Like open box. Somebody just opened the box, didn't use it and put it back in the box. I'd pay 400 pounds. All right, so there wasn't really much to edit here, in my opinion. Just basically increase the contrast and brighten it up a little bit in the shadow areas so you can see sort of the textures on the back of the spiders, you know, on the back, right? And then if I export this, it'll clean up the noise and make it a little bit sharper. But that's pretty much it, I think, for that one. Because it's already composed pretty well. Nothing really I can crop in on or reposition without cutting something off. Okay, let's see, this is from Adrian. Okay. So we're going to have to do a little straightening. I'm going to go with a vertical. Wow, this needs a lot of work. This can be a good picture, but it needs a lot of work. Uh, so let me just do a quick preset adjustment. Let me look at some other presets, just if I see something that might work. This is not bad here, the low key. And this red tone is not bad. All right, let's start with that. And like I was saying, I think a vertical might work a little better. Maybe. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, I'm definitely wrong here. Right there. And still a little bit too much on the leaf side. And I really want to get more up here. That's why I was thinking vertical, but I couldn't. Let me look at vertical again. I don't know. The problem is the lines on the bottom don't lead your eye into it quite as well. So we're going to have to go with this. I'm just looking at this all wrong. Give me a second. Dave says I would fade the red leaves in the background. I'm not sure what you mean. I like this tunnel right here. I'm gonna work with it right here. Okay. I don't want to spend 4 minutes just cropping an image. And this needs a heavy vignette. Maybe not that much. So the vignette didn't do it for me. Let me try with some contrast. All right, not bad. Okay, good. It was just too bright there. A little bit too bright here. All right. And let's do... Oh, my bad. I need a little bit larger brush. Okay. Too strong. 1, 2. A little bit in here. Ugh. All right, I'm going to call it there because I should have the timer count up so I can see the total time. Because once it stops, I get distracted, right? Let me darken a little more here. Just a touch there. Touch there. All right, let's do it before and after. I could light paint this some more. This needs to be darker here. Let me fix that. And we'll make it cooler. Right in there. All right, that's enough. All right, so there's the before and after. Yeah, so this image on the left is kind of cold and flat, right? But there is a nice kind of tunnel vision going on. So I just tried to amplify that a little bit. I could have, you know, I made this a little too bright. I'd have to spend about another 15 minutes on this to make it just the way I want it. But that's pretty close. I would just pull the brightness back off on this area and smooth out the tones from one transition of light to the next. But I think that that's where I would take this image. That was a lot more work than I really should have put in it. But there we go. Okay, Druid. Oh, nice one. This has got to be another 60 macro. Yeah, EM1 Mark II, 60 macro. Excellent settings. You probably could have done ISO 200, but excellent settings otherwise. Looks like a sensor spot over here. Okay, so let's just straighten it out and crop in a little. Well, let me apply this basic preset first. And just straighten and crop in. Vignette. Just create some symmetry. Back off this vignette a little bit. And let's fix some of the distractions. Man, your lens, I think your lens just had a lot of dust on it, because these dust spots are just a little bit out of control. All right. A little bit more here. So maybe the glass that the spider's standing on is dirty, or maybe it's your lens is dirty. But there's just way too many spots in this image. I'll be here all day fixing those. All right, let's fix the color a little bit. Mainly, I want to just brighten the eyes up a little bit. Some here. And let's do a little sharpening. And pull that back. Okay, maybe not that much. All right, let's just brighten the eyes and we'll call it. So we need to be, okay. We'll do the eyes on the bottom next. Let me see. Okay. Do the same thing down here. All right. Okay, I'm going to call it there. So there's the before and after. And if we just, compositionally, yeah, I just cropped it in so you can't tell it's crooked. That's all. But detail-wise, not bad. If I export this, it'll clean up nicely. I can do that real quick. Okay, we're down to 3 more, or 2 more. All right, wow. I'm not doing too bad today. Let's export this. So I got a mushroom and a hill. Okay, or downtown. Yeah, here's the exported one. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. If we punch in, you can see that, like I said, how DXO really brings the sharpness in quite a bit. And the eyes, I did okay. It's a little bit soft, but for the most part, I think that looks pretty good. And then, of course, all this dust and spots are just wreck the photo, the original. If I show you here's the original image, and you can see it's very soft, right? Without the processing that DXO can do, versus this one, right? But that's great. It looks good. All right, let's get to the next one here. Mushrooms. Oof, wow, the lighting's strong here. This is like midday. And this has the same problem of separating with the grass. Let me just eyeball a preset. I like this one. Let's see what's down here in the reds. That's a little too red. This is not bad. Okay. So I'm going to do this and then do this lo-fi. All right, that's good. And just work with the light a little bit. Just pull the highlights in a tiny bit, push the blacks and the shadows, push the mid-tone, a little bit of exposure comp, and then crank in some detail. Vignette. Yeah, we got good vignette already. Compositionally, let me just look at it. I might be able to crop a tiny bit more in. If I pull a little bit off the left. All right, a bit less vignette than what the default was. Okay, let's see. So slight crop, a little more color and detail, and that's it, really. I think that's all this needed. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Slight pull on the highlights. Yep, okay, all set. Go to the next one. All right, this needs some perspective correction. So let me auto fix the geometry and horizon a little bit. It needs to be. All right, that looks about right. Need to make this a little bit brighter day. A little bit warmer. And okay, that's tonally and perspectively about right. So let's think about the composition and the colors. Because right now it feels like the sun is behind a cloud because it's just not creating any kind of shadows, or unless the sun, yeah, I can't tell. There's light here. So the sun, it seems like the sun is behind on the left. So that's what's awkward about this picture for me. Normally I like the sun to be coming in and hitting the front of things. When it comes in from behind, the picture's just a little less flattering. Behind meaning it's behind all of these buildings. It's just, and it's probably behind a cloud when this picture was taken, because the light is so soft. But I have two structures here. I have this kind of neat building here and this boat here. But they're so different, I can't get them really together and work together. So what I might have to do is pick one. Either pick this boat down here, which is not a very flattering angle for the boat, or pick this side here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the left side. Because the picture overall is almost journalistic, right? It's just sort of a snapshot of the scene. But I feel like if you really want to capture or get a little bit creative with it, we have to pick something. We have to pick sides. So let's go to a 5x4. No. How about this way? All right, that works for me, kind of. So I think this has got some potential as a black and white. Well, maybe just slightly muted too. Ooh, I like this. If I was feeling nostalgic, I would go with one of these like Photo 60s. I like that. And but let me just do it manually. Just pull the color off there, but then let's increase the sky a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, I think that's it. Let's do a before and after. All right, so like I was saying before, I just didn't see a way to make that boat and that building work together. They're just too far apart. It would have been better if you could have got over to the right side more and took a picture of the boat from the side and the building and create less space between the two. Then that would have worked for me. But as it is, I just had to pick one, and the boat didn't have a good angle on it, so we just went with the left side. And there's my final edit. When it's done, there we go. So at least now we have some details and things we can see in the buildings and the boardwalk, whatever this thing is. This to me is a lot more interesting picture than seeing everything all at once. Okay. Nice. And that was the last of it. Okay, so let's go to the viewer edits. And DeMorgan sent in some from last week, so we'll just have to kind of remember what last week's original was. But here's the original image I gave you guys to work with. And this was like one of my drive-by type things. I was just driving to a location and saw this barn in the fog, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I got to get a picture of this. And then after I took it, I was like, I didn't frame it right, or something was not right, you know? So I said, let me just give it out to the group and see what you guys do with it. Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me, Jonas. Let me go grab yours. Oh, I see it. Yep. Give me a second. Randy sent one in too. So I'm going to download. So let me move this to there. And then Randy sent one. Okay. Got him. No, I wouldn't use a haze filter or anything for this image. Maybe a polarizer, but I'd be very, very deliberate about how much I would use it or adjust it to make the scene a little bit more interesting. But I don't think you really need any filter. I think the way the image is okay, but the composition and lighting is off. But the scene is there. There's a scene. There's a picture here. It's just a matter of if you guys edit this. Yeah, overexposed. Yeah, I'm learning that now. Because I took a lot of pictures here, and a lot of them were underexposed. I don't think, you know, like I said, I was driving in the car, so I didn't dial any exposure comp. So I didn't really, you know, you don't have time to think about a shot. You just stick the camera out the window and take a picture, right? I mean, this is while I was moving, I'm pretty sure. But okay. Oh, hey, Wally, how are you? Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. So anyway, that's the original. Let's go ahead and look at what you guys did here. So we'll start at the top. And, ooh, this is interesting, this blue. I think if you would have took, I think if we didn't tint the blue down here, it would be more interesting. But this, I really like this. The crop's not bad either, this wide crop. But I like this choice of blue for the fog. That's really interesting. And I forget, how do you pull up info? It's what? Image info, where is it? Control I, right? So this was from Ian. Okay, Ian, yeah, I like the blue, right? The Morgan is pretty interesting. No, this is in Virginia, John. I was on my way to an airplane show. If you saw those on my Instagram or Flickr, the pictures of the airplanes and the balloons, on my way there, these are the shots I took. Oh, this is nice. I like this. Very clean. Really good balance. I would have made the grass, well, no. Maybe the grass a tad darker, but this is pretty awesome. I like how you balance the two trees with the single barn. I think this is the one that just came in, right? From oh no, Raho. Okay, Raho. Good job, Raho. I like this crop a lot. I like this crop. And the processing, you know, basically you just brightened it up and went black and white, and it's kind of a pink tint. So yeah, a lot of stuff here, but really good. The crop and the brightness I like. Yeah, good job, Rahul. Oh, I got some more airplane cockpits I haven't posted yet. I'm debating to publish them straight out of camera or to apply some sort of artsy-fartsy filter to it before I post it. But I do have a few more cockpits set up. Maybe I'll show you a couple at the end here, and you guys tell me. But yeah, Raho, excellent job, right? Yeah, this one here is pretty much the same crop. But this has sort of a cyan tint to it. So I like this. Yeah, I like this crop. And this processing is just as good as the previous one. Vanessa, good job, Vanessa. You guys really found a good composition in this frame, I think. You and Raho. Framing the trees and balancing everything. I like this. It's very pleasing. Oh, my God, Ben, you're still here? All right, here's, wow, look at this. Now, this feels like morning, right? I don't remember the original looking that tall. But you must have cropped in or something to make it that big. And so, excuse me. But yeah, good use of color here, definitely. Definitely feels like morning, and the colors all really work well together. Yeah, I just got lucky with the fog, Ben. I just driving down there, I was like, man, look at this fog. Maybe something will come along. And sure enough, red barn, you know. That's one thing you can count on. If you go out into farmland country, is a red barn. Good job, Bettina. Good job. I like what you did with the colors here. Really good. And it really feels like morning. You set the mood very well here. This one, oh, wow. I like how you brought the texture out in the clouds. And there was so much fog that even if you bring back, some of the texture of the trees, it's not bad at all. You still got that mood. This is an interesting framing too. Let me just look at this full screen for a second. What I'm thinking of is if I would have done anything different down here, because you've cut off most of the grass. So the picture feels kind of bottom heavy, but then the textures in the clouds, this is an awesome edit too. I'm just not sure what I would have done the bottom a little bit different somehow, but I'm not sure how. But I like it. I like it. Who did this one? Oh, Randy. Good job, Randy. Interesting. All right. Wow, look at this. I like the separation here. And this little bit of blurring in the front is interesting too. Hit this tree a little bit too hard. But I like the barn with the grass being kind of the same tone. And it doesn't, normally I like to separate tones like that, but you've separated by texture because this barn is very crisp compared to the grass, which has been kind of blurred a little bit. So you did separation using, focus, right? This is a little sharper than down here. And then the wide crop works, definitely. I would just, up here is a little bit too dark. Maybe fade this a little bit more, and this would be perfect. Whoops, I hit the wrong dang button, sorry. Here we go. This is from Joni. Okay, Joni, good job. I'm glad I got this out for everybody to see. But I like the way you did the separation, and I like the crop, and just a little smoother transition here, and it would be just right for me. Oh, wow. Someone did a sky replacement and made this a night shot. This is a typical Marcel type thing, but Marcel would have put a moon in here and have moonlight on top of it. But that's interesting. A total change from that very yellow, warm morning look that Bentina did versus this one is sort of a nighttime moon glowy type look or starlight. De Morgan, oh my goodness. Yeah, De Morgan, yeah, that makes sense. This looks like a De Morgan edit. This is interesting. All right. All right. This one here, I'm not sure I like how this was defocused. I mean, it got rid of the power lines and stuff, but I like the color processing and everything. It has a very distinctive feel to it. But the blurring out of the background, that part looks a little artificial. But I like what you did with the lighting and color. And the crop, yeah, this crop, a lot of people are going with this crop, sort of a 16 by 9-ish wide crop. And then you just center the horizon right into the center of the frame and use the barns and everything to kind of bring it back in. Not bad. De Morgan again. Man, that's very different. I wouldn't have expected that from you. Wow. A portrait. I would have never thought of this. A little bit too much negative space for me, but yeah, it's really good black and white processing. Good separation now of the grass in terms of tones with the barn and the fog. Yeah, it looks good. Who did this one? DeMorgan again. Okay. Wow, you're really cranking out some different ones here. And nice square crop. Good colors. Yeah, there's a little bit of yellow haze on the barn, which I get is from the fog, but yeah, it's nice though. Let's see who did this one. Ivan. Okay, Ivan, good job. Nice square crop. Everybody seems to be centered on this one barn, which I think works. Because there's just good balance here behind it and in front of it. Yeah, Ellie. Ellie almost killed a kitten the other day. You know, I heard her murder, death, kill bark. She has a very distinctive bark when she's fighting. You know, I call it the MDK, murder, death, kill. And when I hear that, I have to go out because she'll attack things bigger than her. So I don't want her to get hurt. And if I can save the smaller animal, I will. And in this case, I did. I saved a little kitten, baby kitten, because, you know, after I pulled Ellie away, put her in the house, I went back out to check, and the kitten had run off. It couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 weeks old. I mean, it was really tiny. And Ellie, I don't know, Ellie was just pissed because she could kill a little kitten like that. I mean, I've seen her kill groundhogs, like, you know, half her size in like 5 seconds. You know, if she gets the right grip on the neck, that thing is gone. But that little kitten, she didn't kill right away. She just was barking at it. And, but yeah, one bite from her, she could crush it. Well, anyway, that's enough about Ellie. This is nice. I like this. Very vintage photo look. Kind of a glass plate or something, or old photo. I like it. Oh, Jerky, good job. You know me, I've been kind of into this kind of stuff lately. Maybe it's just a phase and it'll pass, but right now I'm really digging these old style photo looks. Oh, this is nice too. This is a different crop than everyone else, because everyone else has been kind of making sure this barn is in it. But you've kind of cropped off both sides, and then this tree is kind of the tree now, for me, becomes kind of the subject of the scene. Even if it's in the fog, it's still the most dominant thing. Yeah, Jerky, I like that. I like that vintage look. I like this too, though. Muted colors. So you muted the colors, which helps to emphasize that big tree in the middle. And then, of course, strong vignette, as always. You know me, I'm all about vignettes. John Truman, good job, John. I like this. This is an interesting edit. I would have never edit something like this, but it looks good. And, oh, wow. This is very artsy-fartsy, right? We got an interesting pattern here in the background, like texture. And then a 5x4 crop, it looks like. Looks good. Looks really good. Who did this one? Scott Mumford, good job. And a white vignette instead, which is interesting. Yeah, it feels very watercolor kind of look. Looks a little bit like a watercolor, except for the fine details in the barn. And oh wow, this is a crispy edit. Really strong, very crisp colors and details. It's a little bit like the fog just starts behind the power lines, but not in front of the power lines at all, which is kind of interesting. This is Scott Mumford again. I'm sorry, hold on. I have to see. Sorry, she got a bug up her butt about the delivery guy. They're not delivering to my house, but okay, that was not the murder, death, kill bark. That was like the warning bark. that was purely warning and excited. Like I got to get out there and protect everything. All right, who sent this one in? This was Scott. Okay, Scott, nice. Wow. Another watercolor. Now this is a lot more like watercolor because the details are gone, right? Let's see who did this one. I like it though. It's very simple. Another one. Okay, good job, Scott. Very simplified picture. And this was actually from last week. I don't have the original handy to compare. DeMorgan sent in 3 more. Yeah, excellent. Excellent edit. Chopped out that. I do remember on the right side that I was not happy with the composition, so you made you cropped in and just made a square crop. But I like the separation of the evergreens from the other trees in the foreground, and then a very clear and crispy midground going to the back. So it's a nice transition, and a mild sepia looks good. And this one here, it's a little bit too cold, a little too blue for me. It's okay. Not my style. I mean, it's a good edit. It's just not my style at all. DeMorgan again, yep. And this one here, yeah. See this tree on the right? This was my compositionally was where I had a challenge with this image. But this is a nice black and white edit, very crispy. But you'll notice that the separation of the evergreens from the other trees is not quite as distinct here. And that's what I really like. The very first edit you did the best. This one here, I like this the best. I like this separation all in here. It's actually vertical because I zoomed in by mistake. I'm sorry. This is awesome. I like this edit the best by far. This is another vertical. I got to watch my zooming. And this is a little better now that I see the whole thing. I was cropped in so much I didn't like it, but I like this. Still a little bit too cool on the cool side, but I like it better. And then this one, yeah, this one here is good, but I think the first one is better. All right, let's see, there's a couple more left here. Okay, another sort of nightscape type edit. These colors are just a little bit too out there for me. This is almost alien planet kind of colors. And the lighting is, the light painting is a little rough. There's some spill over here. You're going in the right direction though. I see where you're going. I would have spilled, if you're going to use this pink color, I would have spilled some of it down here. just so that, you know, it matches, because the white balance on the bottom doesn't match at all what's on top. So that's why this separation doesn't work too well. Well, let's see. Druid, okay, Druid. Yep, keep going. Keep working on this one. Think about the top and the bottom, how the white balances have shifted. They just don't match really. But I think you're on the right track for this kind of edit, because I do the same thing. I try and make it look like a nightscape, and then it's a total bomb. Oh, this is interesting. This almost feels like it's a forest fire type fog because it's so orangey, right? I bet, yeah, Randy probably sees a lot of this where he lives. Hopefully not too much, you know, but this feels almost like a fire type fog than it does a natural fog. Phil, okay, Phil, interesting. Interesting edit. And this feels like another Phil edit. I don't know why. But I like it. I like this very soft focus, because the grass in the foreground was very crispy. So there's, you know, there's a few ways to go with it. But in this edit, it looks like you added sort of a low-hanging fog over the grass, which it looks good. Who did this one? John Follows. Okay, John, interesting. Very good. Ooh, that's a harsh transition from bright to dark. Oh my goodness. This needs to be followed up with harsh shadows or something. But this transition is a little bit too harsh. Who did this one? John Follows again. How can you go from like this very surreal and gorgeous edit to this, which, wow, this is harsh. Unless I'm missing something. But okay, let's move on. Oh, I love these little vintage looks. This is awesome. This feels like a very vintage photo. John Burleson, good job. I like this. Whatever preset you used or however you edit this, it looks good. And ooh, this is interesting. It looks like you tried to put a moon here. Of course, my sensor has spots on it too. That might be a sensor spot. But that's the problem, is this needs to be a little more distinct one way or the other. But this is pretty awesome. Nice and blurry down in here because of fog and fog everywhere. It looks good. A little bit brighter, a little more distinction here. I think it would be perfect. Marcel, good job, Marcel. Ooh, look at this. This is a full-on like composite, right? But I love the birds. I love what you did with the barn colors. Very rustic. And then this sort of glass plate type framing. This is pretty awesome. And the same, this has the same composition basically of that single barn and the two trees. This is pretty awesome. Good job, Serge. Much better than I did on your picture today. I really didn't do your picture justice at all. But this is an awesome edit. Wow. Yeah, this is my favorite one, I think. Yeah, the birds actually are a really nice accent to this image, right, Dave? And that's the other thing with composition, right, is you can have this beautiful scene. It has all the elements you need, but sometimes to have a little accent of something in it, like these birds, just really set it apart, you know? Because, I mean, there's got to be billions of red barn pictures and fog, right? But how do you set yours apart? You know, you have these little accents like this, and that's why this one really stands out. But I like the texture and the toning you did on the barn. This is perfect in here, right in here. And then everything else, the processing is excellent. Ooh, wow. So this one is like rain, like a rainstorm with moonlight or sunlight. This is weird. I mean, it's an interesting edit, but it's weird. I don't get the sun and rain at the same time. Yeah. Interesting edit, though. Interesting. Marcel, good job. And yeah, that's the original image. Let's see if I apply a quick preset. I like that one that Serge did. I don't think I have any that... I don't have any presets here that would make it look that good. Maybe that one. And then a slight crop. Like right in here, like everybody else. All right, so there's my 30-second edit. Still not half as good as anything you guys did today. All right. As always, thanks everyone for coming in today. I really appreciate you spending your time with me, editing these things together. Hopefully you like some of the edits I did and maybe picked up a few ideas. I certainly always pick up new ideas from your edits. And I'm going to try and keep this schedule for Thursdays to do the edits. So just look forward to it. You can always submit your images before I post the stream. If you have the link, it's the same link in every video. But either way, you guys have a good weekend. I will be back on Tuesday for my normal live stream. I may pick a topic, like I did the last time. I did some highlight, shadow, spot meter. I can't even remember what I did last week, but I picked a topic. Spot metering, I think, right? Maybe I'll do that again. But I am going to go, if I can find the stop streaming button again. Here we go. Awesome. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks again.